What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at some budget smartphones that are going to be launching early this year that I'm really excited about. Now, all of these items I do plan on personally purchasing and covering here in the channel once they are available. So this also gives you a look into what to expect on the channel itself in the very near future. So let's get started. Now first, I do want to show you this really awesome offer available from Samsung right now. This is a really cool way that you can save an additional $50 towards accessories for the next Galaxy devices. So this does end in a few days, so I wanted to let you know about this so that you don't miss out on it. But I do have it linked in the video description. But essentially, Samsung's Unpacked event is coming up very shortly, and you can put in a free reservation towards an upcoming device, which we don't even know what they're announcing yet. But essentially, you put in your reservation details, you also select your carrier or whether or not you're interested in an unlocked device, and then that's it. You just submit that info. Now, if you end up not wanting to buy a Galaxy phone, then it's not really an issue, but if you at least enter in the reservation details, then you won't miss out on this opportunity. And I don't know about you, but I really like getting free stuff. In addition to that, we do get an extra $10 in the Android Shop Samsung app, which is another nice bonus. But I'm gonna fill this out really quick. So Kevin Breeze, Kevin at kevinbreeze.com. Okay, filled that out. I always prefer unlocked devices, so I'm gonna select unlocked. And then for trade-in, no trade-in. And that's pretty much it. So you can see that you do have an ability to save some money on an upcoming device if you do trade in your current device. But I already filled in all the details I need to. I'm gonna click on reserve. And there we go, I'm good to go. It was that easy, literally takes a second. And if Samsung ends up announcing some devices that I do wanna actually get, then I will be able to actually get a $50 credit towards accessories. So it's really a no-brainer. And towards the end of this video, I'll show you some leaks towards some upcoming Samsung budget phones. And I have a feeling that that's gonna tie in really well with this. But again, if you wanna take advantage of this offer, I believe it ends in a couple of days from now, and that will be linked in the video description. Now let's move on to the first trio of budget smartphones that I'm very excited about. And that is the upcoming Moto G Family. So if you're not familiar with the G series from Motorola, essentially they're budget to mid-range devices that they've been putting out for, I think about 5, maybe even more than that, like a pretty long time. 5 years, 6 years, something like that. But all I know is that I was a big fan of 2020's Moto G Power, and then also the G Stylus and G Fast. And this time around, they're launching successors to two of those phones, and then also the Moto G Play. So we have the Moto G Stylus 2021, the Moto G Power 2021, and the Moto G Play. So these actually do ship on January 13th. I already have all three of these pre-ordered, and I'm definitely gonna be very busy here in January cranking out content about all of these phones. But of course, you do have the ability to buy these factory unlocked, or you also could get them through a carrier, which I'll show you. At least one carrier has already posted some information. So definitely if you do get them through a carrier, you will save some money. But then on the other hand, you don't get the convenience of having a factory unlocked phone. So I suppose there's always some trade-offs there. Now, I don't want to get too deep into the details about these phones, mostly because, like I said, I am going to be getting them very shortly from now. And then when I actually get the devices, I'm going to be going into a lot of detail, showing you everything that there is to know about them. But again, we have the Moto G Stylus, Moto G Power, and Moto G Play. So really something here for everybody, I feel like. Now moving on to the first carrier offer when it comes to saving money on one of these upcoming Moto G phones. You can see right here, Straight Talk Wireless is going to be offering the Moto G Stylus for $179. So I'm sure prices could change as time goes on. Most likely, discounts always increase as the devices get older and older. But you can see just by getting this phone through Straight Talk, for example, you are going to be saving quite a bit compared to the factory unlocked counterpart. And this is on Walmart's website, and I believe the phone will be available both on Walmart's website, obviously, because it's on here, but also through Straight Talk's website as well. So that might be something to consider. Now moving on, OnePlus is getting really serious about budget smartphones in the US. This is really the first time they've done this. Previously, OnePlus mostly focused on one or two flagship or upper mid-range devices, but now they're really trying to corner more segments of the market. And I think that's really great news, as budget phones are giving you more and more for still a very budget price. Now starting off, we do have the OnePlus Nord N10 5G. Again, I do intend on getting this device. So I'm not going to go too deep into the details, like I said, because I'm going to be going through all of that when I actually get this phone. But we have this device, and then we also have the Nord N100. So the N100 is going to be under $200, which is something we've never seen in the US from OnePlus. So that's especially exciting. And from the looks of it, they're packing in quite a bit of value too. So if you are in the market for a budget smartphone, it seems like we're getting more and more options, which is fantastic. Now making this even more exciting, it looks like Metro by T-Mobile, as well as regular T-Mobile, are going to be carrying both of these devices. So you can see right here, this is on the Metro by T-Mobile website. OnePlus is coming to Metro. So the Nord N10 5G obviously does support 5G compatibility. And then the N100 is 4G LTE. So you will have to decide if you want to spend the extra money for the N10 5G. Obviously, there's going to be more bonuses with that device in addition to having 5G. Obviously, it's going to be faster with a better processor, other better specifications too. Double the amount of storage. So a lot of benefits to getting the upper end model of these two. But again, it's super exciting that we're getting more and more budget options. I definitely cannot complain about that. And I'm super excited for covering all of these phones here on the channel. I'm not somebody that just talks about phones that I don't intend on getting myself. I do intend on getting all of these. In fact, I have all of them pre-ordered, so they're gonna end up at my doorstep eventually. Now moving on to some leaks about the upcoming Samsung 5G budget phones. Again, tying this back into the Galaxy Reserve event. Again, you should sign up for this because why not at least have the option to get a $50 instant credit on accessories. So if you end up actually buying the phone or not, at least you have that extra bonus there of getting the extra $50 credit. We do have two, at least at the moment, budget 5G devices being launched by Samsung in the US very shortly. Now, as far as these phones making their way over to a carrier, it does appear that both of these phones, the A32 5G as well as the A52 5G, are both at least going to be offered by AT&T, but I have a feeling that they're going to be offered at even more carriers than that. Now, getting back into the pros and cons of buying unlocked versus at a carrier, most likely at a carrier, you will be saving quite a bit more money, but at the same time, it is locked to that carrier. So you are going to have to weigh the pros and cons of that, but this is a first look at the A32 5G. You can see we're getting a pretty interesting, kind of different camera module design here. So that's pretty unique. It does look like the phone does have a water drop notch up top. Not something that I'm too big of a fan of, but I'm going to wait until I actually get the device to really judge everything about it. But it looks like it does come in some different colors here as well. And it looks like the processor is going to be the MediaTek Dimensity 720, potentially. So that's pretty interesting. I've never used a MediaTek processor in that particular series, but it does seem like MediaTek is getting more and more serious and trying to offer better and better processors at affordable prices. So I am optimistic about that. And then finally, moving on to the A52 5G. It did gain regulatory approval in January 8th of 2021. So here's what the phone potentially will look like. I'm guessing that we will still get an in-screen fingerprint sensor, just like the A51 that was launched in 2020. But this phone most likely will make its way over to a bunch of different carriers, just like the A51 did as well. In fact, kind of an interesting tidbit here, the Galaxy A51 was the best-selling smartphone in the world in Q1 of 2020. So I'm sure Samsung's going to want to build onto that momentum here with the A52 5G. And it is looking like it will be getting a 5G variant and a 4G LTE variant as well. with the 5G variant having the Qualcomm Snapdragon 750G processor, and then the 4G variant having the Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G processor. So pretty interesting here that it does seem like they are ditching the Exynos processors, which the A51 had last year, and going all in on Snapdragon processors in 2021. But again, we'll have to see how this turns out. But as soon as this phone comes up for pre-order and then this phone comes up for pre-order, I will be pre-ordering both of those. But like I mentioned a second ago, I have already pre-ordered the 2 new OnePlus budget devices and then also the 3 Motorola G series phones. So really exciting stuff there in general. Now I wasn't really going to mention this in this video just because I don't want to talk about too much, but it does look like Motorola is launching some phones in their 1 series as well. Now, I haven't really had too much experience with the 1 series, mostly because I just don't have enough time to check out everything, so I've mostly been trying to stick to the G series. But it looks like we do have the Motorola One 5G Ace that was announced very recently, and then I believe the Motorola One 5G has been out for a bit, as well as some of these other 1 series phones from Motorola. So definitely a lot of different options here when it comes to Motorola. I'm also expecting some new E-series phones to be launched as well. So there's definitely quite a bit going on here in early 2021. It's like all these phones came out of nowhere. It's pretty wild. Now these are all devices that are going to be launching specifically in the US. Now Motorola has been busy launching devices in their G9 series. So this is the Moto G9 Power, for example. I've been covering this on my second channel, Smartphone Review Pro. So if you want to learn more about that, you can take a look at that as well. However, keep in mind that their international phones will not be launched in the US, but there are many similarities between them. But on the other hand, if you do want to use one of their international devices here, you can do that as long as you're using a GSM carrier. So again, so many things going on here. Definitely, probably more options than we even need at this point, but competition is definitely a really good thing. But I hope you enjoyed this video going over all these different budget smartphones coming out very shortly. Again, make sure to take advantage of the Samsung Reserve promotion because again, you don't want to regret not doing this and missing out on a potential $50 credit. Like I just did, I just signed up because I personally don't want to miss out on it either. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what smartphones out of these you're most excited for. I'm sure as we get further and further into this year, there's going to be even more and more budget smartphones being announced, which is great if you're trying to save some money while still getting some really nice devices. But this is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next one.